Hey, it's Yay for Yarn, and today I'm going to be comparing the regular ordinary bonbons that you get at a craft store versus these giant bonbons on Amazon. So here is a Lion brand bonbon. These are about 10 grams of yarn each, about 28-ish yards. This is a 25 gram bonbon with about 50 yards each. And these all came in a set on Amazon. The brand is some kind of gibberish name that I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but it looks like SUNTQ, and this was all one set. So this yarn is 100% acrylic, and it's a set of 20 of these what they call mini-skeins or bonbons. They're smaller skeins than your average 50 gram or 100 gram skein. So if you need a whole bunch of colors for a project, then you don't have to buy, a bunch of different regular size skeins of yarn. But these are about DK weight yarn, and you get 50 yards per skein, 25 grams, and they are pretty decent quality actually. I have worked a little bit of crochet swatch with this one, and it may be that, just like some other acrylics, that it will soften up once it gets washed. It's not like scratchy or anything, it's just not quite as soft as some other brands. I say it's not quite as soft as Knit Picks Brava or Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn, but it is still nice and smooth, and I would definitely rate it higher or better than a Red Heart Super Saver. So these are the 20 colors that you get with this set. You get a red, a kind of a hot pink, a reddish hot pink, and then there's like a halfway in between. It's like a lighter red. Then here's like a magenta, a deeper magenta, a purple, like an eggplant. Here's a more lavender, a soft pink. Here's yellow. Now, the yellow is not a pure yellow. It's close, but it has just a tiny bit of a greenish tint to it. So it's not like a true pure yellow, but it is pretty close. Here's a beige, or like a natural tone. This one is black, white, gray. The gray also has like a tiny bit of a bluish or greenish tint. Here is like a Kelly green. I've got like electric green. This is more of a golden yellow, closer to an orange. Here's a really, really deep brown, a really vibrant royal blue, and this is a mint green. But I just want to show you a little comparison here, because here's the Lion brand bonbon. These are the ones you can get at most craft stores, and they come in a pack of 8. This is the SUNTQ bonbon, which is humongous in comparison. This is pretty tightly wound, and this is a little more fluffy and squishy. But for size and price comparison, this is a far better value, because for these Lion brand bonbons, you get 8 to package, and they're usually around $7 or $8 for the set of 8. And you end up with a total of about 80 grams of yarn in that set of 8. Whereas for about twice as much, these are currently $16.99 on Amazon for this set. This set contains 20 bonbons with 50 yards apiece. They're 25 grams apiece. So you get a total of about 1,000 yards in 20 different colors for twice the price as 80 grams, which is not very much in comparison. Just for comparison, about 3 of these is equivalent to how much yarn you get by weight in a set of these. These are very, very tiny, and there's not a whole lot you can get out of them unless you're doing a small project. Now these you can, combine colors and make a larger project. I'm thinking I might combine all of these reds and purples together, because I think that's kind of cool the way they ombre. But you can combine them to make a larger project, and you can also make a nice smallish project with one skein if you only wanted to use one color. So I think this is a great set if you want to get a bunch of different colors and make one project, a small-ish project, not like an Afghan or anything. You'd have to buy multiple packs to make an Afghan. But you could make a pretty decent sized project with a bunch of different colors put together without having to go out and buy, you know, $3 or $4 for each regular skein of yarn. And I think this is perfect for a child or a teen or a young person who wants to learn how to knit or crochet, because they can have a wide variety of colors, but they don't, you know, you don't have to go out and buy 20 different skeins of Red Heart Super Saver or something like that. That would be really big, and it would be a whole lot more expensive than something like this, where you can just try out a bunch of different colors and maybe do some stripes or something like that. And it's especially good to use smaller skeins if you're just teaching a child to knit or crochet, and they might like it and do it every once in a while, or they might love it and want to do it all the time, but you don't know until, you know, until they've learned how to do it and they've decided if, you know, how well they like it. So I think this is a perfect set for any kind of project that you want to have a bunch of colors in, or for a kind of a sampler pack for somebody who's learning to crochet and, you know, wants to get their little stash started. This is a good set for that. The only con I have here is that the label does not actually give the normal information that you would get on a yarn label. So if you're going to need the information to be on that label, then you would need to either peel it off, write that information, and then tape it back on, or just add an extra piece of paper to the label, especially if you want to, you know, give them out individually or use them individually, where that you wouldn't have the information off of the listing from Amazon. Then it would be a good idea to put your own label on here with the information of how much yarn it is, what's the weight category, and all that. So they will, just like most value type of yarn brands, they do kind of vary slightly in thickness depending on the color, but I'm not super worried about that because they look relatively consistent, and most of the value brands generally vary at least a little bit in the thickness between colors. But if you're familiar with Red Heart Super Saver and you've ever used it before, these definitely vary in thickness way less than Red Heart Super Saver. And I think they're softer. Red Heart Super Saver is a little more scratchy. This is smooth, and it doesn't, you know, have a lot of fuzz coming off of the strand. But I think once it's washed, that this will also get a little softer. It's pretty soft right now for an acrylic yarn, but it could probably get a little softer in the wash. So if you're interested in checking out this set of bonbons, I will put a link in the description box and you can go and check them out. I will probably be making some sort of projects with these in the future, so stay tuned if you want to see what I make out of this yarn and how it turns out. If this video was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, leave me a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe, making sure you click the little bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of new videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.